At the beginning of the movie, the protagonist, Max McGrath, is seen sitting on the rooftop, sketching the front view from his house. As he sadly looks at the factory beyond the river, his mother Molly asks him to help her unpack. Max and his mom have recently moved to Copper Canyon, the place where Max was born and his father died in a said storm. As Max helps his mom bring in the boxes, she promises him a fresh start and that they will not move houses again. He jokes about this move being their 9th fresh start and starts unpacking. When he comes across a family photo, he can't help but wonder if his father died in the same factory he saw earlier. When he asks Molly, she sadly tells him yes. Just then, a surge of electricity makes the lights and television flicker. After Molly leaves, Max is stunned to notice a strange energy originating from his hands which distorts the TV show. The next day, Max heads to the school on his bike. He notices a deserted building with the title N-Tech, but a text message from his mother grabs his attention. As soon as he swipes to respond to her, the energy from his hand meddles with the device and it stops working. Confused, Max rides to the school, but on the way, he has a near accident with a pickup truck, which ends in Max falling to the ground and hitting his head. As he lies on the ground, the driver runs to him to make sure he is okay. She promises to meet him there after school to take a look at his bike. When Max enters his classroom and introduces himself, the teacher asks if he is Jim McGrath's son. Max answers yes, which shocks the entire class. The teacher talks highly of Jim, claiming that he was a wonderful man. Later, Max sees a newspaper clipping where the science hall was named after Jim McGrath. Since his mother never talks about his father, Jim clenches his fist as he feels emotional. What he does not know is that his energy triggers something in the town. After school, Sophia drives Max to her home, where she helps him fix his bike. As he looks at her intensely after thanking her, suddenly a radio behind him turns on, which prompts Max to leave. When he gets home, he is greeted by Miles Edwards, a good friend of his dad. Over dinner, Max learns that it was Miles who convinced Molly to move back to Copper Canyon. Also, Jim used to work for N-Tech, an advanced research company that is now run by Miles. While Miles tells Max how he tried to save his father the night of the accident and failed, something starts glowing in a pool inside N-Tech. The scientists assigned to that pool investigate it, but shortly after, there is an explosion, which bursts the water into the air and forms web-like crystallized structures. These structures resemble those surrounding a flying robot drone named Steel. The scientists instantly call security, but it is too late since Steel has already escaped from its containment chamber. Despite a heavily armed team, the robot drone manages to escape them all and flies away from the building. Meanwhile, Max is overwhelmed with the new information, and suddenly the power goes out. Max goes to fix the circuit breaker in the basement. As he returns, he overhears Molly telling Miles that Max is just a kid, and he does not need to know the truth yet. A few moments later, Max takes things into his hands and looks into the explosion that killed his father. As he watches a few videos of it online, suddenly his computer turns off. He desperately tries to turn it back on, but nothing changes. Suddenly, he notices a strange blue energy emanating from his hands. He uses a pillow to put it out, but in vain. Max then commands it to turn off, and it does. This is where Max learns that he can turn his energy on or off at will. To test it, he turns it on again, which produces a huge surge of energy, and all power goes out again. The next day, Max goes into the woods and tries to turn some appliances on with his power, but ends up burning them. Later, at the school cafeteria, Sophia shows up and says something, but Max can't figure it out through the window. A girl sitting nearby helps decipher it for him, saying that Sophia wanted to see him at the Thai place on Main Street at 4 p.m. the next day. This makes Max experience a surge of emotions. As a result, a nearby vending machine releases multiple soda cans onto the floor, and students rush to pick them up, while Max scurries away. Once home, he uses his laptop, this time with rubber gloves to avoid any electrical interference. When he finds nothing on the internet that explains his power, he decides to talk to Molly about his father. While they talk, someone from afar is scanning his power. The other day, he goes to see Sophia, who introduces him to boba tea. They get talking, and Sophia reveals that she knows his secret, which makes Max nervous. But it's only that he does not join any friend groups, and she wants to show him around town. She asks for his number, but her phone stops working, and suddenly Max is overwhelmed by a surge of energy. He excuses himself to the restroom, but instead of calming down, he starts panicking as he can't control his energy. When his chest also starts glowing blue, he rushes outside the diner, apologizes to Sophia, and leaves on his bike. When he gets to the forest, he ditches his bike and keeps running until the pain becomes overwhelming and he starts screaming. Suddenly, beams of electricity emanate from Max Max toward the sky. The morning after, Max wakes up to find himself in his bed. He lets out a sigh of relief when he notices that his powers are gone. The burnt holes on his clothes and sheets confuse him, along with the wound marks across his chest. Suddenly, he is startled by the presence of a flying robot drone behind him, especially since it calls him by his name. This amnesiac alien introduces himself as Steel and tells him that he is here to save Max from whatever force is trying to kill him. He also tells Max that he can absorb the excess energy buildup inside his chest. The commotion causes Molly to check on Max, but he convinces her that it was just a bad dream. Once she leaves, Steel absorbs all the excess tachyon energy from Max, which in turn helps Steel thrive. As they head to the woods, Steel tells him how the energy buildup can be dangerous, and Max would have exploded the other day if Steel hadn't found him just in time. Shortly after, some men arrive in a black SUV and head toward Max and Steel with their automatic weapons. Max and Steel dash away through the woods, and Steel tries to show Max some memories that it can remember from before. Max takes it to his high school to hide from the mysterious men chasing them. There, he asks Steel if it knows why those men wanted to harm them. Steel then tells him about an alien race called Ultralinks that can manipulate elements and create storms. He also runs into Sophia and promises to make up for their ruined date. Later, Max and Steel head to the abandoned N-Tech building where Steel teaches Max to harness his energy and how to link with Steel to form a suit of armor. If they work together, they can enhance the tachyon energy to turbo, which enhances Max's physical and cognitive capabilities. While Max practices his newly acquired strength in the factory, Steel shows him its memories, some of which include Jim. Steel further reveals that Jim died because of the Ultralinks. To get some answers, Max heads out to meet Miles. On his way, he dodges just in time to avoid being hit by Sophia's truck yet again. However, since he notices the SUV nearby, he does not stay to talk and asks Steel to buy him some time. Just then, Sophia blocks his way in an alley, so he asks her to drop him at N-Tech. On the way, he opens up about the grief of losing his father so early on, and how the town was making it difficult for him to process his feelings. After asking her to hang out with him next time when they reach N-Tech, Max asks Miles to talk privately about his father. Miles tells him that Jim was working on creating a generator that could produce an unlimited amount of power, and died in a freak accident as a consequence of not following the safety protocol. Just then, a device senses Max's energy, and he feels a surge rising in his chest, so he runs away, leaving Sophia confused yet again. He finds himself caught in a powerful storm, which he believes is an Ultralink. As the red-eyed alien approaches him, suddenly Steel flies in from nowhere, and they merge to form the armor. Next, Max uses his turbo energy charge to defeat the Ultralink, but to his shock, it is identical to Steel. Through one of Steel's memories, Max learns that Steel betrayed Jim a long time ago, even though Steel tries to defend itself, claiming that it fought against the Ultralinks beside Jim, but Max lashes out at Steel and abandons it. In the next scene, Max believes Molly is missing when he heads home, which is surrounded by armored men. Max then runs to Sophia and borrows her car and phone. Next, he calls Miles, who tells them that this has happened before, and that the Ultralinks must have taken Molly to his dad's lab at the abandoned N-Tech factory. There, Max finds Steel captured, and through another memory flashback learns that Jim McGrath was an alien, and Steel his partner. Meanwhile, Sophia calls Max's home and learns that Molly is safe. After Sophia tells her everything about Max, Molly pretends that everything is okay and cuts the call. She is seen to be surrounded by the armored men, but she's their boss and she orders them to find Max. On the other hand, Max learns that on the night of Jim's death, he was linked to the generator to harness his natural energy to fight the Ultralinks, but Miles got greedy and wanted the turbo power for himself, which is why he partnered with the Ultralinks to drain Jim's power and kill him. Seeing this, Jim ordered Steel to go into stasis and protect Max at all costs, after which he overloaded his core to stop Miles from his evil plans, even though he knew it would kill him. Just then, Miles shows up in an armored suit that drains turbo and attacks Max. He orders Max to enter the generator so he can harness his energy. Max decides to overload it just like his dad, but Steel wakes up and the two merge to form the armor. A fight ensues, but Miles seems prepared. The armored men from before, who are actually N-Tech's Special Forces squad, attack Miles too, at the behest of Molly, who is the major shareholder at N-Tech Company. Together, Max and Steel channel all of Max's energy into Miles, which results in an explosion, killing Miles. Ultras. At the end of the movie, Molly reveals to Max that she constantly moved to protect Max from the Ultralinks. Max apologizes to Sophia and gives her a drawing that he made of her when they first met. After asking her out on a proper date that night, Max practices his flight above Copper Canyon in his suit. Welcome, sci-fi fans. Futurist Flicks is thrilled to launch our exclusive membership program, designed for loyal fans like you. By joining, you'll unlock early access to recap videos, unseen recap videos, raffle prizes, free merch giveaways, exclusive content and behind-the-scenes insights, access to community events, live streams, and Q&A sessions. Join the Cosmic Crew today and get instant access to exclusive perks. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more intergalactic adventures.